Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl, the Talk Chick, and we are back with another Bumble Clock video. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you for joining me. I actually feel good. You know, there's a way you feel when you have makeup on and you know you're looking amazing. That's how I feel today, okay? So according to the caption today, we're going to be doing basic, beginner-friendly makeup tutorial today, okay? Using like 3 basic eyeshadows. Yeah, literally. This is what we're looking like, guys. Actually enjoy the fact that I did this, and it's pretty much simple. It's detailed, fam. It is really, really detailed. It gives you the kind of brush options to use when you're using your brushes. Literally, guys, this video is just the perfect video for you, okay? Before we go right into all of this, I mean, if you want to see how I created this amazing makeup look, like this video if you enjoy watching it, and of course subscribe to my channel if you enjoy contents like this, okay? Now let's get right into the video. Enjoy. Now welcome back. This video is actually going to be a drugstore video, okay? Products I'm going to be using today are going to be drugstore products, okay? These are products that you can literally get from any makeup store. These are not high-end products, okay? Let's get right into this, okay? So first things first, resume to your questions. I'm going to get my powder. I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. This time I'm using it for my brows, okay? Just to like powder up my brows before we do the eyebrow, okay? This kind of helps it apply well and keeps it matte. It kind of controls oil as well, so this is really, really important for you. Now that we are done powdering our brows, like setting it with a powder, I'm just going to go into my Vicabel spoolie and brush up my hairs. I did a microblading, but guys, it seems like it's already fading. I don't know. It's not even up to a year. I don't think it's up to 6 months yet. Maybe it is about 6 months, but it's already fading, okay? So first things first, what I do with my brows is that I start from the bottom part. I mean, the fact that I actually have microblades on, it's really not much of a big deal for me these days. I just feeling what I got a feeling, and so your brows are not supposed to be twins, supposed to be sisters. So that is done. Easy peasy. I know it might not be easy for you as a beginner, but okay. So I'm going to use my spoolie now to even out the brow. Yeah, so I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn for my bottom brows, and I'm using my NYX HD Studio Photogenic Concealer for my top brows, and this is in the shade CW 08.4. Okay, so I'm using my MSQ brush to clean my brows. I start, from the middle of my brows, then connect it. I take my time to do this. I'm not always in a rush, because if you mess it up, you're gonna have to start from top again. That's it. So I go into my Zorea brush. This is the Flawless Concealer 860. Just going to use this to like clean the concealer, like blend it out. This brush, I suggest you use this. If you don't have it, you can use another brush, but this is actually a very soft, fluffy blending brush that would actually blend away. Okay, now for my NYX, what I just do is I use this, literally I use the wand itself to just like clean the top brows instead of going back into my brush to like do that. So now that we're done with the eyes, literally this is how it is. This is how I always do my brows. anytime, any day. Okay, now when it comes to eyeshadow primers, am I allowed to say that I'm not a big fan? I don't use eyeshadow primers. I go for the alternative, which is the concealer. And the type of concealers I use when it comes to my eyeshadows are concealers that get tacky, not the ones that has the creamy formula. I like concealers that are tacky and dries down matte. Okay, if you use like a creamy formula, I feel like it's gonna break. I don't know, but I'm sure you must have been in a situation whereby at a point you see like your eyeshadow breaking and there's some separations between the eyeshadow and your skin. Literally, that's what I'm trying to talk about. If you want to use concealers, I have concealers from the likes of, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this brand, but this is a very good brand. It's a Nigerian brand. It is the Ezekiel Second Skin Concealer. It is the Ezekiel Second Skin Concealer, and this is in the shade Nude. It's either I go for Ezekiel or I go for LA Girl Pro Concealer, because LA Girl, yeah, it dries down matte as well, you know. But what I opt for almost every time is my Ezekiel Second Skin Concealer, which is what I'm going to do today. Okay, it is very affordable. It's like 1,500. So this is what I do. I barely use eyeshadow primers. This is just like my own way of, you know, doing stuff. You don't have to apply much, okay, because what we are going for is like a very simple brownie, bronzy beginner look. Okay, if you want something bright, I don't think that's for big. I mean, if you're beginner and you like something that pops, maybe you should go like a shade lighter, way lighter than the maybe you should use like maybe creamy beige or porcelain, or you can use the Maybelline Master Conceal camouflaging concealer. You can use this. It's actually a very good eyeshadow base. The more you want your eyeshadow to pop, the more brighter your base should be. So now that we're done with this, the palette we're using today is the Fantasy palette from Changeable. The Changeable Fantasy palette from You Can Be. So we're going to be focusing on the browns. You know, we're going to be focusing on this part, okay? I'm trying to like focus on using like just one brown shade and one shimmer shade, I mean, as it goes. Okay, now we're going to talk about brushes. If you want to use a very good brush that controls the way that controls your eyeshadow application, these are the brush options you should use. I mean, if you have this, you should use this, okay? Because it's better you use a brush that has control, not a big fluffy brush. This is fluffy, but it is not that big. This is fluffy as well, but it's dense. So this kind of has control, and this one as well. This is fluffy as well, but it's not that big. So what I call a fluffy brush is this one. You see how big this brush is? This is the Vicabel brush. It is very, very big and fluffy and dense too, okay? So if you want to use brushes, maybe you should pick one of this, okay? I'm going to go with the MSQ brush, which is this one. I'm going to go with this brush, which is the MSQ brush. And we're going to focus on this eyeshadow here. This one here. This is the eyeshadow we're going to be using today. So we start with packing in, I mean, from the tail end of your eye, like creating like a C shape. See that? You go to the other side as well. You do the same thing. Then you connect both shades together. I mean, whatever rocks your boat. If you want to like pat everything together, you can do that. But I feel like this is pretty much simple. So we're going to be using like two shades here. So a darker brown and a lighter brown. Okay, just to diffuse the edges of this eyeshadow. You can as well use this one, but I think that has a bit of blending to do as well. Can you see that? So we're going to go into a lighter shade of brown. So I'm thinking of going into this. So what I do is I just tap into it just lightly, then I dust it off, then I start connecting, just like placing it at the edge at the edge of the brown. Guys, remember we're still using one brush. Now that we're done packing in, we're just going to start blending, okay? Blending from the brown, the dark brown to the light brown, just to give you that seamless finish. So can you see how diffuse that is now? Really, there's not much blending when it comes to this kind of shade because they're almost similar. Now for packing eyeshadow onto your lid, it's either you get like a let me just show you this kind of brush. This actually helps in packing your eyeshadow. Brush that is this flat, okay? You see this type of brush, or you use your hands, okay? We're gonna be creating more like a halo look today, so I'm gonna start connecting this from here, from both sides, like here, creating more like creating a V. So I'm really like trying to like blend it to make sure that it looks good. So we're just gonna go back to the brown shade and just like blend the edges and make sure that everything is good over here, okay? Literally that. So if you want to make this pop more, maybe because I'm feeling that way today, I just want to like add a bit of glitter. I'm gonna go into this Avor Makeup 3D magnetic eyeshadow, okay? Just gonna take a tad bit from that. So this is more like a reflecting eyeshadow, so I just see that. So it's reflecting gold, pink, lemon, lime-like shades, okay? For my liner, I'm not doing anything overpowering, okay? I'm just connecting. So I'm gonna use this dynamic liquid eyeliner from Minal Pro. This is what it looks like, okay? Just want to go off camera and create this other eye, and we'll be right back. Normally what I'll do next is just, you know, clean my eyes, clean my face. If there's any fallout, then go into my primer and just prime my face, and we head on with the foundation and all of that. But I'm gonna line my eyes first. This is actually beginners. If you feel like it works for you before you put your foundation or you start your skin work, if you feel it works for you that way, maybe you should do it. But if you feel like you're a pro when it comes to your eyes and you don't get watery around that area after you're done with your face application and all of that, maybe you can do that. But I'm just doing this for beginner's sake, okay? Normally I'll do this after my makeup, but now that we're done with that, it's time for us to prime. Okay, so first things first, I set my face with more like a serum or a moisturizer or something, but I'm gonna be using this Honeydew Me Up by NYX. I'm gonna use this as base first before I put on my primer. What next I do is I just massage this into the skin. So now that we already have the serum on our face, I'm just gonna go into my Maybelline Master Prime Face by Face Studio. I like this primer because it blows out your pores and it gives you that smooth canvas. Same goes with the Baby Skin primer, okay? But this is more of a silicone based primer, and this is very affordable. I got this off Amazon, so it wasn't that expensive. Now that is set, I'm gonna let it sink in before we put foundation on. The next thing is I use my NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation. This is more like a darker, this foundation is very dark for me, but we're going to use concealer to balance it out. This is in the shade Deep Walnut, okay? And I'm using the Zorea brush, this one here. This brush is an amazing brush, okay? I know this is actually going to be dark for me, but we are going to balance it out with concealer. Alright, I hear people say good things about this foundation. I don't know if it's me, but I'm trying this again to see how dark it is. So for foundation, I think you should get your own shade of foundation. Don't be like me, okay? Because me, instead I get something light, I have something that is dark, so I can use concealer to balance it out. Okay, now that we're done with that, we're gonna move to the next stuff, which is concealer. For concealer, guys, we'll be using the LA Girl Pro concealer, and I'll be showing you guys the basic way to highlight your face. If you have a brush, you should use a brush, but if you have a beauty blender, make sure it is wet and damp before you use it, okay? This is optional. If you, I mean, you know how when they apply concealer on the skin, then they go in with a setting spray just to make sure that everything is still creamy for it to like disperse really well. It's the same thing as your beauty blender, okay? So now, in putting your concealer, where you need to concentrate is here. So I like to blend as it goes, okay, so that it doesn't dry on me. I'm not one of them that like it when it gets tacky and all of that. No. So guys, I start from this part of the face, then connect it to this part, and make sure that everything is blended over here. Guys, the next thing you need to do is now go right into this area where you have them concealers, that much. Then you start blending. Like, you don't move it, just make sure that everything is blended on this side, okay? Just concentrate it on this part of the eye, literally. So guys, can you see how my face is looking? You see how blended, like it is actually full from here, then what's the word? I don't know how to explain it, but you see how this place looks like seamlessly blended out, and this place looks like it's really covered well. That is how your foundation should feel when you're doing your makeup, your face makeup and all of that. Okay, when this is optional, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, okay, but I do it, so I just do this. So this is literally what I just do, and I just blend it out. That way everybody is satisfied with what they got on, okay? You see how blended this is looking? So normally what you're supposed to go in straight is your contour, but the fact that my face is already looking way dark, I'm just going to go back into my foundation brush and just use this to like diffuse this part of my face, just to make sure that we're looking good on here, and make sure that everything is blended into the skin. So literally that is what I do. So that is what I do literally, fam, okay? Because there's no point of you going back into like a contour shade where your foundation is already dark. But if it's the same shade, I think that if it's the same shade as your skin tone, it's at that point that you're gonna go into your contour shade. So now it's time for setting powder, okay? So what I literally do is that, so I have between my beauty blender or my Real Techniques contour brush. I mean, I use this for setting my face with powder. I use this for packing powder on my face. I use this for packing powder on my face. So I think the subtle you want to go, the brush way you want to go. But if you want like your foundation, your face to look like really baked, I think you should settle for beauty blender. So what I do is, I don't pack. Like what I do is I just make it like I apply it like in a brushing way. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but literally this is what I do when I'm trying to set my face with powder, and I don't want it to be like all over the place, okay? Okay, now it's time for contour or bronzing. Okay, so I'm a contour kind of person compared to the way I apply bronzer and all of that. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into the foundation brush I used before, and I'm gonna go into this Blossom HD compact powder. This is a very dark contour shade, but it has this bronzy tone on it, so I literally use it for contour and bronzing. So yeah, I just apply it around this place, just like give it that warmth. So I take it all around. This can be used as contour as well. It's just that it has that warm red tone under it. So I'm gonna use the same powder for my nose contour. Okay. So after doing this, I just go back to the brush I used to set my face. Then I kind of like blend the contour into the powder itself. Literally that. So I'm gonna go back, and this time I'm gonna use my beauty blender, but this part of the beauty blender, so we can do like a reverse contour. This is optional, you don't have to do this, but this kind of gives your face that shape. So this like chisels out your face. I'm gonna go back into this brush and the contour powder and just like blend. This time you're like blending in a circular motion just to make sure that everything is looking good in here. Now it's time for our blush. Okay, I have like two options of brushes when it comes to blush. I have this huge fluffy brush, and I have this small tiny blush brush, and this is from Vika Bell, and this is from Zorea. Okay, so I have this angled brush that I use for blush and for contour, and I have this big fluffy brush that I use for my blush, and literally this is what I'm going to be using. This helps in applying your blush because it's big and fluffy. So I just put it around my blush and I just swipe it. When it comes to applying your blush, you gotta take it easy, okay? Don't go full hand on it. For my under eye, I use a brush like this small, or this one. Can you see it? This will work well for you if you're a beginner, just so that you don't mess up your under eye when you're applying eyeshadow and all of that. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the brown shade I used earlier for my lid. So what I'm gonna do with this one is just like blend it out, make sure that everything is looking blended. So now for my tear duct, I'm going to be going this shade for my tear duct, and I'm using just this tiny brush here, just cause it's tiny. Yeah, this is optional, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Okay, but this kind of like brings your eye out in a way. Now for my highlight, I'm gonna use this Febo highlighter. So I'm gonna be using this shade, this one, and I'm just gonna apply it on here lightly. Okay, don't go full harm, and if you want to bring it to your brow bone, you can do that, but lightly. Okay, I do this for my chin, my cupid's bow, my forehead. This is optional, but I like to do it, I don't know. Then the bridge of my nose, just lightly, like so. So I'm gonna get my setting spray. I'll be using the Milani Make It Last matte finish. For my lipstick, this kind of look depends on the vibe you want to go for. If you want to go full red, full blown red, you can do that. But for today, I'm gonna be going into like a chocolatey lipstick color. I think I'm just gonna go with the Mega Last Liquid Catsuit Wet n Wild lipstick in the shade Goth Topic. So now for lash options, okay, if you're a beginner and you don't like it dramatic, you can actually go into a lash pack like this one. This is the Beauty Line by DD Lash Pack, and this is how it's looking, okay? If you don't want it too dramatic, you can actually go into this Wispies lashes. This is in the style Newsworthy, okay? For someone like me, I like to go dramatic, okay? Now for this video, I won't be going dramatic, okay? So I'm gonna go into this style here. Welcome back, guys. So this is what my face is looking like. I went off camera to put on my lashes. I settled for a very natural, dramatic looking lash. Okay, this is actually not too dramatic, but it's a bit natural compared to how dramatic my lashes can be. So yeah, I went off camera as well to apply my eyeshadow. No, I went off camera to set my face with my V Beauty powder. This is in the shade Chestnut, and this is a pro matte powder with SPF 30. So literally, guys, this is what our face is looking like. I hope you enjoy watching this video, even though this video is long. You need to see this video till the end, no skips, please. This is actually for your own good if you're a beginner and you want to learn how to like place shadows, how to do your foundation, how to do your concealer, your contour, and all of that. This video is just the right video for you, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this video. Of course, let me know which of the makeup application was your favorite when it comes to, you know, my makeup look today. Was it the eyes? Was it the foundation? Was it the concealer and contour, the lipstick? Everything is actually good, okay? Let me know what you think about this video. Like I said earlier, like this video if you enjoy watching it. Subscribe to my channel if you like videos, if you like more videos like this, okay? Because I'm actually gonna be dropping more makeup tutorials for beginners and all of that, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys on my next one.